Alright guys, so today we're going to talk about different types of dominances. So far we've gone over complete dominance, and so what I've shown you is an example of that. So now I want to talk about different types. So we went over complete, so another type is codominance. Now can you guys take a stab at that, what that might mean?
Is that when two dominants like combine to make, like they both partially show?
Yeah, more or less. So codominance is when two alleles are both fully expressed. And so an example of this would be, let's use flowers, because flowers do this all the time. You ever see a flower that has red and white? Right? That is a perfect example of codominance. The white allele and the red allele are both fully expressing on that flower. And so then there's another one called incomplete dominance. So can anybody tell me what that might be?
Is that the one that I was trying to describe?
No, you pretty much said this just in different words. They're not dominant, both dominant, they're just alleles. There are dominant and recessive ones, but they're just both being fully expressed at that time.
I meant like the incomplete must be both like affecting each other to make one.
Yeah, so incomplete is kind of this blend. And so think of a pink flower. A pink flower has a red and a white allele. And when the genotype, which we've talked about before, is if the genotype is big R, big R being red and little r being white, when it's in its heterozygous state, it's pink. And so that's an example of incomplete dominance, because not one allele is completely dominating the other one, but they're actually blending together to make a different color. And so moving on with this, I want to go over in a little bit more detail what I showed here. So we're going to do a Punnett square, but it's got 3 alleles this time. That's different, right? With the genes we've been working with before, there's only been 2 alleles. And so that's the number of different types that you can have, right? And since we've been working with brown and blue, obviously there's hazel and green, but that's even more complex that we don't want to go over right now. So based off this knowledge right here, what do you think 2 red homozygous dominant alleles is going to produce? What color flower?
Red.
Exactly. And I already gave you guys pink. And so then what's homozygous recessive going to be?
White.
And so this happens a lot. And you can even think of eye color as being a brown, a hazel is kind of an incomplete dominance of the 2 colors. But a hazel eye, brown is expressing more than blue is. But they're both being expressed. And in green eyes, blue is being more expressed than brown is. But they're still both being expressed, giving that different shade of color. And so as we work through more genetics problems, I'm going to be introducing problems that incorporate codominance and incomplete dominance for you guys. So make sure when you're working on your homework tonight to consider these different types of dominances.